What it do? What it do? What's up?
Happy Sabbath.
Happy Saturday. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to my Friday people. Happy Sabbath to my Sabbath people and all the good stuff. Comments, where are they?
All right, we're going to bring up the comment and reactions window.
What up, Adriana? I already shouted you out on Facebook, giving her shout out. Where's the...
Giving her her horns.
Wait a minute, what's happening?
Yeah, I'm just a little bit delayed right now because I don't see the comment showing up. Are you on your page or on my page?
I'm on your page.
Yeah,
and I definitely really hear the horns coming up.
Maybe we need to just do it on your page instead of my page because it seems like your page had the comments coming up, not mine. I don't know.
Nah, it would not come up. Oh, I understand what you're saying. I don't know, but we're not trying to.
That's right. We ain't letting that hold us back.
We ain't letting that hold us down.
Shout out to the 14 people watching us already.
Yeah, we are in here like, I don't know what. Like what?
Swimwear.
Okay. All right. We're in here like swimwear. What up, Gabrielle? Happy Sabbath. How come that's coming up there?
I don't know. Chelsea. Shout out to Chelsea and to Jordan.
But that's from last year. That's from last week.
Word? Yeah,
Yes,
because I
sir.
want to say, how did they jump in already with that comment? But that's all good. I don't know how that got there.
Ooh, it's all right. It is what it is.
Something
it is what it is
going on tonight.
Sorry, my brain went elsewhere.
Okay.
What up, Kevin? Kevin says double RL.
Yes, sir. The Megalodon, Kevin.
You already know. Okay, let's go ahead and give him his horn.
I did.
Oh, okay. Remember, I can't hear anything, so I'm not sure what's happening.
So let me put this out there. Carlene is too bougie to wear headphones.
I'm not too bougie to wear headphones. Like, I don't want, like, how can I fit headphones on this hat? Like, how does that work?
You got the earplugs that you can put on.
It's not cute.
You chose. Not, exactly. It's not cute. That's why you chose.
Can I just wear can it just be wireless? I don't mind my AirPods, but I don't want that. But anyway, how is everyone doing? Here we are again, another week. We're so excited. So much has transpired during this week, right? I think it started out with what people are terming the Montgomery,
Alabama, when my man threw up the black signal with the black hat.
So that happened.
Yo, round of applause.
That was very interesting to even see all of it. Just kind of, I was just like, wow, okay.
I was loving all of it. And, for the simple fact that it was a good old-fashioned brawl. We don't condone violence.
Right,
but
we
nobody got shot.
We don't.
Nobody got, nobody got shot. I think some people got hurt. But I just love the fact to see how black people from out of nowhere came together to defend this gentleman that was just simply doing his job. So shout out to Aquaman. Shout out to Chairman.
Yeah.
Shout out to the man just doing his job and to all the people that stepped up and defended that brother.
Facts.
They ain't even need to know what happened.
No.
They just saw 3 or 4 white men jumping a black man. They were like, nah, ain't nobody got time for that.
Not today.
Not today, Satan.
Not today. And I think that's so important how, what up, Marvin?
Marvin.
I think it's so important, the coming together. Because, oftentimes in our community, it seems that we're more separated than we are together. But it was just something nice to see that, even though, again, we're not condoning violence. However, it was just really good to see how these people came to the rescue of someone that was being abused, someone that was straight getting abused because he was doing his job. So, yeah. That is that. What up, Katiuska?
Katiuska.
What up? I'm so happy that you guys are actually in the comments saying Happy Sabbath and saying what's up to us. Like,
That's
that
right.
makes that gives us energy, and it makes us feel like, okay, y'all with us. You all are with us, not y'all. You all are with us.
Oh, your Texas came out. Y'all.
I
with
know.
this.
I don't know where that y'all keeps coming from. It's like, why is it coming out?
You've been living here.
I'd be like,
You've been living here for 10 years.
I need to go back to New York. I need to go back to New
You've been living here
York.
for 10 years.
I need to go back to New York.
Yo, in the comment section, is Carlene a Texan?
I'm not sure even why that's a question.
Because Carlene, a Texan,
Stop
she's been
it,
living
please.
here for 10 years.
What does that mean?
She said,
that means
y'all.
nothing. That means nothing. That means absolutely nothing.
All right.
I am not a Texan. I am not a Texan.
All right.
You better say I'm from New York, because that New York is gonna come out real strong right now.
Okay. 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 Okay.
It's coming out real strong right now. You know, that's how New York is. We always talking like we about to fight somebody. But yeah, I see. Thank you so much, Camilla. I'm from New York. Camilla, you know, I know.
Oh, I'm giving hater. Let me see. Do I
Thank
have
you
a
so
sound?
much.
I have a sound effect.
Adriana is like
I'm
absolutely
giving-
not New York all the way. New York.
I had the nerve to say I'm giving hater.
I feel like you are. How you gonna sit up here talking about I'm a Texan?
Because you had the y'all come out.
So, it was a little slip. You know what I mean? Don't fault me for a little slip. Like, real talk. I'm
what-
NYC all the way, son.
What's the verse? What's the verse? Out of the mouth speaketh the abundance of the heart.
Yo, I'm from New York, son.
Marvin is on your side tonight.
See, everybody, new NYC for life. Like, you can't be talking about Texan.
Yo, I think you got. Are you paying people to be on your side?
I'm not paying anyone. What I'm doing is I'm being myself.
Tansy out
real, recognize real.
Gabriel out here. Gabrielle, I'm gonna say because she's a woman. Gabrielle out here. Who else out here is giving
the
love?
whole block. The whole block.
All right.
That's how New Yorkers roll, right? We don't roll like whatever. It's a whole block.
You know what's giving right now? It's like
What's giving?
It's like you just threw up the black hat. It's like you just threw up the black hat, and everybody in the chat is coming to defend you.
Skip.
That gets a oh my god.
I'm like New York does not have a side or whatever. But if we did, I would have been like all of it. I would have been doing all of it.
Look at that. You got even Shay Andy coming through
That's
with the
right,
comments.
Tanzy. You better let him know.
Hey, Damien, where you at? No, matter of fact, I'm not even calling Damien because Damien always got something negative to say. Always got something negative to say about him. No, Damien, stay where you are.
Yo, you got me hot. You got me hot.
All right.
I just want you to know for the people in the back that I'm not Texan.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying
Nah.
you sounded like a Texan when you said y'all.
It
you
was
had that.
just y'all. You don't hear me talking to anything. You don't hear me saying anything else but y'all.
You came in
That's it.
real strong with the y'all.
No,
y'all.
I didn't.
Yes, you did.
My
You said-
y'all wasn't even like that.
You said, "Hey, what's up, y'all?"
If I say that, then you call me a Texan.
You would have
But
said.
I did not say
you
that.
You had mighty well say, "How to do, y'all?"
This Negro, I did not say that.
That's what you were about to say, and I caught you.
I did not. Even when Caitlin, sometimes she has this like where she goes into this little twang, and I'm just like,
Yeah,
please fix it.
We about to do Caitlin like them West Indian people, send you back to New York for the whole
back
summer.
to New York for the whole summer because we not about this drawl. We don't do that.
But shout out to the people from Texas. We are not throwing any shade.
No, not at all.
That's the Texan
But
accent.
like how everyone. All right, let me calm down. Everyone reps where they're from, right? Like if we were to have a Texan here, they would be very much like, don't call me a New Yorker, call me a Texan, right? If you are from Chicago or you're from Louisiana or wherever it is, wherever your hood is, like you're going to represent that hood. And for me, Just in case you forgot.
Hey, you choosing violence this Friday. You're very savage. I will refrain from ever saying you sounded like or blurted out a Texan accent.
That's all I needed to hear.
I was just making a reference to the fact that you said y'all.
That's all I need to hear, that you won't ever do that again. I appreciate it. Okay, I'm done.
Mark McDonald said it's from the Southern Chair Ministries at the docks in Alabama. We all identifying with the Southern accent now.
I mean, I might give you a little bit of something, Mark, for that.
I received it.
I might give you a little something for that. But
I received it. Well, I was watching that video with a smile on your face, ear to ear.
Jesus, have mercy.
Yeah.
Have mercy, but Texans be serious about the hood. Exactly.
They do.
Everybody representing their hood. I'm representing mine.
They got a song, Oak Cliff, that's my hood.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yo, shout out to Texas.
East New York, that's my hood.
Let me get some horns to Texas.
I can't hear it, but I'm with you.
Not the Dallas Cowboys, but to Texas.
Right. How about all right, let me stay quiet and not, because I'm getting riled up like you riled me up. So I'm trying to come down.
Yeah. Take a breather.
Okay, I'm good.
There we go. All right.
All right, here we go. So go ahead and see, now I even got the whole like okay. I am from New York.
All right.
I'm not ashamed. Okay.
Now you're in the zen. But okay, we get to the nitty gritty. So last week we finished our series on picking up the pieces.
Whew.
And y'all have been, excuse me.
No.
Oh, snap.
It's not. Did you just say y'all?
All right, nah, I said you all. I said you all. But I think we all, New Yorkers say y'all. All right, scratch that. Nevertheless. Nevertheless.
I can't believe that you just said that. And it came so quickly. Like it got him.
All right, I'm going to give myself
a
little, oh my God, wow.
Oh my God. Wow.
All right. It came
exactly.
out.
See?
It came out. Don't enjoy this moment too much.
Adriana is like, y'all slipping.
Don't
Texas,
enjoy
that man that from Texas. Exactly.
See now, why can't I get the same love?
Because no, you can't get the same love when you were hating on me.
Because you pay.
If you didn't hate on me, then they would have come to your defense.
I'm gonna go.
But you hated on me.
I'm gonna look at your Cash App, and I'm gonna see all these names up in there. Because you got to be paying these people.
I'm not paying no one. They just know. Real recognize real. Camilla, come on. She says he needs to give himself. Oh, you played yourself.
Y'all enjoying this too much. This is not.
Because Adriana said, because you was just giving hater like 5 minutes ago.
First of all, let's take a step back. Because I don't need you pointing at the computer, at the screen, and pulling it back and all of that. Let's just take a breather, y'all. Take a breather, folks.
I think you started it.
Take a breather, folks.
But we
Good
forgive
people,
you.
Blessed people, happy people.
We forgive you.
People under God's wonder and strengthening arm.
Oh, God.
Let's take a break. And let's know that every now and then.
Oh, snap. She said you have to humble yourself to get our support.
Because we are human.
Oh, you talking about human
because
now?
Of our
How come you weren't talking about that when I was saying y'all?
There are moments when we fall. But the good thing is that we get back up. Now, here's what's important about what happened to me just now was that where is the love and the forgiveness that's supposed to be reciprocated to me at somebody who made a mistake, but not to step on my neck while I'm down? Oh my God! Wow! It's a crying shame.
It is not a crying shame. That was all your fault.
It's a crying shame.
She said, my fault, Donnie McClurkin.
They just ain't gonna stop.
You bought that cash.
Kick a man while he's down. Now, can we get to the episode? Because
Yes.
I want to move past this. I don't like living in the past.
You don't want to stay here.
I don't like living
What
in the
up,
past. I'm all
Saba?
about
Get
the
to see you,
future.
girl, in the comment
Shout
section.
out to Saba. Saba has not been
gosh.
tainted by what has happened prior to this.
Because she is great with words, and
Saba's-
she would have coined whatever it is that you just said.
Let's move on. I think the people want to move on.
Okay, we
I think
can
the
move on.
people want to know what we came here to talk about.
Okay, let's go.
I don't need you doing that face. Are you cracking up, aren't you? Nevertheless, I will be the one to carry the show through, okay? And you can join me when you are ready.
What you mean? I'm saying here, I'm ready.
No.
Whole squad ready.
Nobody wins when the family feuds, Camilla. That is the words of Jay-Z.
Win. Okay. All right.
Okay. We're going to have to do a whole episode about this episode.
Clearly. You started it, but anyway.
No,
all right. Let's regulate.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Whole squad ready.
Okay, here we go.
All right. We get into my space of Zen. All right, I'm back. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Carlene and Jamie Family Podcast, where we talk about life, where we talk about happiness, where we talk about joys, ups, and downs. And on this evening's episode, we are talking about success in the marriage. But before we talk about that, we will begin by recapping our last episode. And as I was saying before,
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Go. As you were saying before.
as I was saying prior
Okay, yep. Keep
to
going.
this debacle that we find ourselves
That
in,
you find yourself in, but keep going. Mm-hmm.
that all of you,
All of you. Okay.
those that watched us during the week, those that watched us on Instagram, the clips, all of you have been just flooding us with comments, and we love the love. Thank you
Yes.
for subscribing.
Yes.
Thank you for watching. Thank you
Yes.
for commenting. Thank you for the affirmations.
Yeah.
And, we are going to be doing bonus content. So we're actually going to have a part 2 to the last. Well, kind of like
I don't think it's a part 2.
not
I
a
just
part
think it's
2,
just
but just an add-on.
Yeah.
A conversation about the whole abandonment piece.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people were commenting on that from that clip. So we're going to do some record something extra that it'll only be on the podcast. I don't know if we'll figure out if we're going to go on the video. But also, you and I, we floated this idea, and I just want to throw it out into the world if that's okay, that we talked about actually doing for those y'all and those of that word.
Did you just say y'all?
Nah, because I think I always say y'all. Yo,
You don't.
No, you do.
You do not
New
say
Yorkers
y'all.
say y'all. New
Don't.
Yorkers say y'all.
Okay, go
I
for
say
it.
it like a New Yorker.
Go for it.
Because I'm like, yo.
Oh, I say like a New Yorker
Because
here.
I be like this. I'm like this. Y'all wildin', yo. Ah. New Yorkers do say y'all. Y'all wildin'. Yo, you wildin', bro. But nevertheless, I'm gonna say y'all. I'm gonna
for
say
it.
y'all.
Go
okay?
for it.
That's
Go
just
for
the
it.
way you said it was kind of different from how I said it. But nevertheless, let's not go there.
No, you went there.
Let's leave that.
You said no, let's go there. I think we just went there.
Let's leave that there.
I feel like you need to retry.
Okay. The way we said y'all is like New York.
No, you. But keep going.
Nevertheless, I'm gonna say my word y'all and be proud of it.
Good.
So here it is.
Texan.
I forgot what I was gonna say. I was gonna say y'all have been
Y'all.
awesome. That's what it is. For those of y'all in Texas, we are thinking about actually doing a live recording in front of a group. Like to do the
Right.
podcast in front of, invite folks over out to where the space that we'll be occupying, and that y'all can come in and you all could ask us questions live while we do the podcast in front of everybody.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll let you know further more about that whenever we get to it. But that's just a Texas exclusive thing. But you can fly from wherever you are. Come and chill with us. Facts. All right. So, Mrs. Kalasar, we talking about success in marriage. What do you do when it feels like, or it appears that one partner is quote unquote climbing the ladder of success, self-development, bettering themselves, and it can appear that the other partner seems to be lagging behind or not, I won't say not doing as well, or maybe not accomplishing or not getting to their goals or not being able to do what they want to do, but it feels like one partner is doing everything that they want to do. Right? So like, is that a problem in marriages? Was that a problem in our marriage? And just based on our experience with that, and I know that you brought this up. What are your thoughts? How do you feel about that? And always, the comments are always open. That is there a such thing in a marriage where one person seems to be doing better than the other one? Is it still a marriage?
Is it still a marriage if one person is doing?
Is it a equal marriage, a balanced marriage? If that's the case, and I think they call that one-sided relationships. Is it a one-sided relationship if it feels like one person is always doing what they need to do, going here, going there, and the other partner is just there, always there supporting, sacrifice, support, and all of that?
Well, this conversation actually there's multiple layers in which we can kind of approach this topic of success and trying to see if it's not okay, but if in marriage, if it's okay to have a spouse who is doing more in their career, advancing a little bit more. The rate at which they're advancing is a lot quicker than the other spouse. And I think it's something that happens in some marriages. I don't know if all marriages, but I can speak to our marriage because that's the only one I know best. I think it goes back to gender roles in terms of, there's so many ways to approach this. So please bear with me, everyone, as I'm trying to, really find a ground, a foundation to build this thing on. So I think like gender roles sometimes play a role in our marriage, and it shows itself in, who cleans who puts out the garbage, who cleans the bathroom, who does this or does that throughout the marriage, right? Identify those gender roles, right? And then when after that's established, like, okay, who does what? I think the gender roles in terms of, forgive me if I am not, maybe I'm wrong, but in my observation, it seems as though, and I don't think so in my observation, like back in the day, women would be the ones to stay home, and they would be the ones to stay home. They're the what we consider the homemakers, and while the man is out as essentially as the breadwinner, right? So he's the breadwinner while the woman is at home. He is advancing in his career, right? Because he's in that environment, like that's what he's doing. That's his role, versus the role of a woman back then was just to stay home. Advancement, what does that look like for women back then who were staying at home? I'm not sure. I don't know if advancement would be, I don't know if it would be measured by, when the man comes home, that the food is cooked or the house is clean, like, I don't know what that looked like back then. But I know traditionally that's where it started. And I think that's like a really good place for us to start in terms of like building out what does that look like in marriage.
Yeah, I think, and I agree. And I think that, or if we start there and if we fast forward to today, then I strongly believe that gender norms have been reversed or have been thrown out, right? Where I'll say this.
I don't think they're okay, go ahead.
I'll say this. I would say with the cost of living and with the way things are, unless one spouse is making X amount of money, it almost seems natural or forced that both spouses have to be and have to have some sort of occupation. Right? Like to the average middle class family, it's very rare where you'll see one of the spouses at home not working unless they're making a big enough salary in order to carry the
family.
To carry the family. So I think that the whole idea of the wife stays home while the husband works, I think it's just a reality that sometimes that's just difficult for middle class, upper middle class, lower middle class, wherever you fall in the middle class scale, that the norms are just like, yo, we both got to contribute.
Or it's switched. Where now the man is at home and the woman is the one who's the breadwinner.
Right. And that's a whole different
dynamic
episode, right? Like, I think that's a whole different episode about how do, how do men are men more accepting of that? Is there a challenge within marriages where the wife is the breadwinner and the husband is the homemaker in a sense or whatever? But I think where I want to go or what I want to talk about is particularly in our marriage, right? And ask you the question, was there ever a point or was there ever a moment where you felt like I was doing a whole lot and that you weren't doing as much as you wanted to do? So, for example, we know in pastoral ministry, you never get to choose what church you want to go to. You have to follow me whichever church I go to. So that's already something that was taken away from you.
Right.
Your freedom to choose what church you wanted to attend. I think now you do that. Right. But that.
Well, let's stop there because it sounds like you're about to pile it on. And I'm like, wait, can I?
All right. Yeah. So let's stop there.
I'm like, can I answer that question or approach that question? But before I do, I want to go to the comments.
Okay.
Rodney says, my wife stayed home except a few months for 14 years of our marriage. She now works full time starting this past January. It's an adjustment, but it's working so far, but it takes time to get used to for sure. Saba says women couldn't have their own bank accounts and credit cards in the US until the 70s. So this concept of women having the capacity to be the professional equivalent to her husband is relatively a new phenomenon. So that's really good to
new phenomenon. And studies show women don't get paid as much as men.
Facts. Still. So you asked the question in our marriage. See, I forgot the question already. In our marriage.
So in our marriage, was there ever a point or a moment where you felt like
where you were advancing? Okay.
I was advancing. Jamie out here doing his home thing. And I started with the sacrifice, right?
I got it.
And I started with me being married to a pastor. As long as we've been married, you have not had the choice. I feel like the choice has been taken away from you to choose what church you want to go to and who you want to be your pastor.
Right. Well, let's take it. I think that's a separate basket.
Okay.
I think that's a separate basket. I think the basket that I want to stay in for this conversation or right now is more or less like the piece of when we decided to. So for the most part, I'm an educator. Jamie's a pastor. So in terms of advancement, prior to us moving to Texas, we were pretty much like, it was like, this is what I do, this is what you do. Great. We're just kind of working and just doing the things, right? As a married couple for the first few years of our marriage. And so For me, I've always had that desire to want to stay home, to be the one to be our girls' first educator, right? To be our girls' first teacher. So that's something that's always sat in this space. Like I always wanted to kind of stay home, and be that and do that, because I felt like that's what I needed to do for varied reasons. So essentially, when I did have an opportunity to stay home, that was great. But I think the environment or the space when we decided to move here was so isolating that I wasn't able to. I don't think I was able to fully enjoy or embrace the joy in being a stay-at-home mom, because of a lack of community, lack of just all of that, all of those things, right? So for me, for us, it was a choice that I would be the one who would stay home and do all the things, right? And then, understanding that for you, you're working, you're doing everything just about, of course, the expectation, I take that back. I expected for you to kind of continue, being, but I didn't necessarily expect that you would, want to do other things, right? I didn't expect for you to want to go back to school. I didn't expect for you to, and not that I had an issue with it. It's just the expectations, right? When you're making those decisions, you're like, okay, the expectation is that I'm going to stay home and then you're going to go ahead and work, not me stay home and then you continue to do all those things. But those weren't conversations that we were necessarily having, intentional conversations. So I would say that like the first thing in terms of like this gender role would be communicating to your spouse in an open way, like, yo, this is what I want to do, right? And lay out the possible expectations that can be as a result of the decision that's being made.
Right. Well, I think that when we first moved here, the agreement was that I would do my doctorate of ministry. I believe possibly. I believe we had that conversation.
I think it came after, like when we moved here.
Yeah, that I had to do the doctorate of ministry. Now, the other stuff, I think there was other stuff that compiled on it that we weren't communicating, that put a strain on you.
Right.
Because not only was if I was just in the school, I think it would have been okay.
Right.
But I was also traveling.
Right.
Doing preaching. I was doing week of prayers. I was on the circuit.
Right.
Preaching everywhere. And you were at home with the girls. In a strange land.
Right.
Without community.
Right.
And I was out there, quote unquote, look like I'm living my best life.
I mean, you were a little bit, like, let's be honest, like, how many of the wives are out? I mean, maybe I stand alone, but.
Go ahead, say what you're going to say, and then I'll say what I need to say.
I understand. I think I know what you're going to say, but let me say what I was going to say. Like, I feel that when there's traveling involved, and I know that there are schedules and responsibilities that need to be out there, but in comparison to staying at home with toddlers, and this is something that you are doing for a week or probably even more, when we used to FaceTime, and I'm literally like pulling my hair out of my head because of how heavy, how stressed I was with having to deal with the absence of you in the space, right? I'm looking at you at night. You're sitting up in a hotel room, right? You have a space to yourself. You have a TV. You get to eat whatever you want. You don't have anyone, talking to you, demanding things from you in that way. You know, for me, I always used to look at you and be like, yo, you on vacation. You're on vacation from this reality. And so even though it's work for you, right? It's work for you. But for me, that work does not look the same, right? Because you get to retreat in silence. I get to retreat with, okay, I got to be thinking about tomorrow morning when I wake up. This is what we have to do, and so on and so forth. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. I dig that. I'm not going to even slightly refute that in any way. And I think when we first, not because we moved here, not when we first got married. We moved here about 5 years into our marriage. Because we've been here for 10 years. Mm-hmm. Right. So I think we were still newlyweds in that 5 years. So I wasn't really contemplating or thinking of the gravity of what it means to travel and to leave you with the girls. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming you're a mother and you love being around mothering your daughters.
Right.
And I'm out there preaching. And like I was going to say, traveling and preaching is not fun. It's not as cracked up as some people may look at it to be. So in my brain, I'm like, you know, I'm looking at you like I'm making a sacrifice too, because I'm leaving you all, because I would rather be with you all. But I'm thinking, okay, this is a part of my calling, my responsibility, my duty, and that I need to go and preach and reach and teach around in different churches. I think this is a great conversation for us to have, because I'm wondering the sacrifices that you made for my ministry, were they forced sacrifices or were they willing sacrifices?
It was definitely willing at the moment, right? Because if I'm being honest, it felt like this is what I had to do, right? Every other pastor's pastor's wife, like their husbands, if their husband's an evangelist, they're probably not seeing their husband for a whole month, right? Because these evangelistic meetings would last for 6 weeks, right? And so it almost felt like this is a rite of passage of sorts, where I have to sacrifice in this way. This is what sacrifice is supposed to look like. Not until I, within myself, was warring between this is a sacrifice that they were okay with, but is this a sacrifice that I'm okay with? You know, just kind of going between the two, right? Trying to force myself to say, yeah, they did it. I can do it too. And I was just like, no, you know, and we had to have that very real conversation that was just like, yo, real talk. I appreciate the fact that, you know, that you are going and doing these speaking engagements. Of course, it's extra income into the house, right? Because now we're on one salary, and even that adjustment, right? In terms of sacrifice, like being able to have or contribute in this not meaningful in this way. And then all of a sudden I'm contributing in a different way. And so for me, that was even an adjustment. Like, what? Like, we can't do what? You know? And so I think that sacrifice was willing. It was a willing sacrifice, but it was a sacrifice that came as a result of, I'm just feeling like this is what I had to do as a pastor's wife, or I had to do as a woman, because this is what I've seen modeled for me over and over again.
Yeah. And I feel like, for me, as a pastor, I felt like it too, right? Like I felt like this was, you know, people calling me to preach. This is my God ordained responsibility to go and be a mouthpiece for him wherever he leads me, right? Or wherever he calls me to go, if I'm available to do it. And I think that was a difficult time in our marriage as well, because I don't know if I was necessarily communicating with you before I said yes. I think I was taking the engagements, saying yes, and then I would come after and tell you, oh, like, next month I'm gonna be in Alabama, or this week I'm gonna be out here for a whole week. And I think it shifted too, right? Because I know what else shifted. When we were in New York, flying and preaching appeared to not be as what's the word I'm thinking about? To be as heavy or as bad because you had community in New York.
Say that part.
Right.
Community.
And when we came to Texas, I kept the same practice.
Right.
But without recognizing that the community wasn't there for you.
Yes.
With a 18-month-old and a 12-month-old? Because we came here.
No, a year and a 2-year-old.
Yeah, so Amber was about.
Amber was just a year. Amber just turned
Amber
one.
Was just one.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
So yeah, going back to what you were saying, like, it's interesting that you said that. Like this, you were also fulfilling like the expectations of what a pastor does, right? Like if you're in a circuit, you're the one that's going here, there, and everywhere and preaching, and it's cool. And I think for me, I also felt like who am I to stop you? Who am I to say don't go because you're doing the Lord's work, right? Like, how could my feelings, how could what I feel, in this moment be more important than the work of God, right? How do I do that? Not until I was just like, yo, this can't be the work of God if I am literally losing my mind. Right. If I'm literally in a dark space, in a dark place, because I'm trying to do it all and I can't anymore.
Right. I think the wake up call for me was when you said, I'm tired of being a single parent.
Completely. I did not sign. And we had a very, very, it was a conversation where I could imagine for you what it must have felt like, but I was at my wit's end. I was at the end of my rope, and I was just like, yo, if I don't say something to this man,
Negro,
that's what I really want to say. If I don't say something to this Negro right now, like I feel as though this will be a breaking moment for me, and I was breaking.
Yeah.
And so I remember you coming home after, I think you spent like a week or so somewhere. And I was like, listen, I understand. I understand that the Lord himself called you to ministry, but this is not what I imagined that I would be in this space, for weeks on end, not weeks, like a week. Sometimes I think one time you did like 2 weeks.
Yeah, I would do 2 weeks, or I'd come home and get on a plane the next weekend.
And I was just like, yo, I didn't sign up to be a single parent. And ministry cannot trump your family.
Right.
Like it just does not make sense. Like you can't go ahead and try and be saving, talking about like saving people, and your family at home straight like, yo, where's daddy? And I'm just like, yo, where's my husband? Like, what's real good? Like, this is not gonna work for me.
But you know what? And so this translates across different boards, and I don't even think like it's male, female, because there are a lot of women who travel and speak, and men may be in the same situation, and there are other careers that requires a lot of traveling. But speaking to our experience, it just reminded me of the past ordination services that we have witnessed this last summer. And,
you go in there.
And the improper information or misinformation that is given to pastors' wives.
Mercy, Jesus.
When their husbands are ordained.
Mercy, Jesus.
It's a recipe for divorce. And even like how they because when I don't even say when we were ordained.
No,
when
you
I
were
was ordained, right? That there was no message. The message to you and the message that I received was that you are now married to him. You must do everything to support him.
Stand right here, stand behind him, and be that support.
Right. So I don't want to blame my behavior on my ordination, but I do want to acknowledge the strong influence or the type of thinking that was imposed on me when thinking about ministry, right? Like when thinking about the career, like thinking about you are God's servant and he calls you to do this and do that. When there's nowhere biblically or anything that says you are supposed to stand behind me and you just let me go while you rear and take care of the children.
Maybe it's somewhere in Ellen White's writing of sorts.
And even if it's in Ellen White's writings,
but when I know where you're about to go. But what I'm saying, I know where you're about to go. But I'm just saying, like, I'm sure Ellen White's writings probably speaks to this, and I'm not fluent in Ellen White at all. So I don't know, and I don't know if she has if she has advised that around that. But I just know that when we talk about pastoral ministry and what sacrifices women have to make because their husbands have been called to this to ministry, that it seems as though like the women are asked to sit down, stay quiet, some to stay quiet, to be quiet, don't say anything, don't say much. Like, your role is to support, your role is to just have whatever it is that your husband is doing. You just sit there, be quiet, sit in the front row with your cute little kids on the pew with you, and just be good. Be a good woman. And as you sit in silence. Sorry.
I'm trying to get you to not bang on the table because I can hear it.
You're right. I'm sorry. You're like
commercial. Like I'm trying, like, don't bang the table because it's picking up on the microphone. Yeah, nevertheless.
I'm sorry, but yeah, I'll try not to bang on the table. I get so
passionate,
riled up.
That's right.
But I do feel that there has to be some advocacy work around the silence of women, of some women who are hurting, who are suffering because their husbands are, on this trajectory to being whatever. And then while she sits in silence, and I'm not saying this for all women, so right. I'm not generalizing. I'm just saying for some. I know for me, I could not sit there in silence anymore because I was just like, I'm dying, and this is life or death.
Right.
Seriously, because I was so depressed that it was just like I'm about to break, and if I do not raise my voice and let this man know, I don't necessarily have a problem with you traveling per se, but the frequency is a hard no. Like, balance it, right? Balance it where it's like sometimes you just say, you know what? It would be great to go here, but I'ma stay right here because this is what matters most. And I don't let me just stop right there. That's what matters most. So you want to go to the comments and...
Yeah, we could go to the comments. And I think, but I think there's something that's important I want to highlight is with that. Even if Ellen White spoke on that, I think the one problem that we do with Ellen White is that we forget that she wrote within her context of within the framework of the society that she was in, right? So she's speaking from a 19th century, 1860 whatever perspective of where that was
social norms
was. That now you can't take that into 2023 because the world has changed so much since the 1800s. Inflation, cost of living, gas is $3. It was probably 1 cent back then, right? So, and I think that's a misconception that even if she spoke on that, you can't bring that in an ordination service in 2023 and feel like that's okay to talk about, right? And as we go to the comments, I just think about how much you sacrificed for my success in ministry.
Yeah.
And that what you could have been doing if the roles were reversed or the traveling was shared, where it was like, you said, Jamie, this weekend I'm going to a teacher's convention, or so you can't travel this weekend. I need you to stay home with the girls, right? Like, and I would even go as far as to say that I wish back then I knew how to offer that to you. To see you, and to acknowledge, like, yo,
that part.
You need to go do some professional development as well.
That part. Woo. This is good. Cause so, all right, so naturally, Carlene is. I'm talking like I'm third person.
Third person. Go ahead. I love it.
She is very loud, talkative, sometimes boisterous,
sometimes
creative.
I was coughing. Something was the water caused me to choke up.
Don't be starting nothing. No, okay. I love to joke. I love to laugh. I love to laugh with my entire mouth open. I love to speak and talk to people when I'm super comfortable with them, when I feel like this is a safe space. I'm all those things. And when I remember coming to Texas, and even a little before coming to Texas, like I became this subservient person where I was quiet, very like, yes, sure, right? Because I felt like there were a lot of things happening. There were a lot of things happening. Why I was doing that? Why I kind of rejected who I was within in order to appease what I know to be accepted, which is that, like, sit quietly, don't say much, yada yada, right? So I say that to say, like, I love, learning. I love all the things, right? I don't shy away from that. I love those things. I've shied away because I felt like I had to step back in order for him to go forward. I had to step back in order for you to go forward. Somebody has to take care of the children, right? Someone has to do these things. I have to kind of create this, I have to be stable while he's doing whatever it is that he's doing.
I just want to put a commercial. Please, out there in the world, don't think that I'm a deadbeat dad. Like, I wasn't taking care of.
No one is saying that.
Care of the kids, and you were doing it all by yourself.
I wasn't, and I think that's important for everyone to know. Jamie has never been that at all. Even when he was traveling, but.
Can I give myself a round of applause?
No.
Okay.
No, you cannot give yourself a round of applause.
Okay. I digress.
You're forgiven.
Thank you.
So, when he used to come and say, okay, he's like, I'm enrolling in school. I'm like, that's what's up. That's awesome. Congratulations. Go for it. Like, I'm his number one cheerleader. Like, go for it. Do it, And I truly meant, and I truly wanted him to continue to advance in his in his career and education and all that stuff. Then there came a point in time where it was a pause, where he did his demon, and I was just like, okay, that's what's up, yeah, whatever. And then I remember talking to him about me going back to school, and I was just like, I was talking to my mentor, and she was like, it's your turn. And I was like, right, it is my turn. I need to go ahead and go back to school, and I need to, because at the time I wanted to do my EDD, and I was just like, yes, I'm ready, super like excited. Then Jamie came and he was like, I've enrolled in the PhD program. And I was like, what? Right? So at that point in time, I could say, you, please. Right? I could do that. Or I can say, you know what? Go for it. Do it. You're kind of on this, you have the momentum, go for it. Both of us in school at the same time, that was something that I couldn't wrap my head around, because no community, none of those things, right? At this point in time. So I'm just like, you know what? I won't say no community, but I was just beginning to form a community. So for me, it was just like, you know what? Just go ahead. It's okay. Like, go for it.
Right.
And of course, we couldn't afford for both of us to be in school. Let's talk about that part. Because I think at that time I was working at the church school. But I was just like, yeah, we can't do both be in school. So guess what I did? I said, you go ahead.
Right. I had gotten a scholarship for the PhD program. And I had just did it as a feeler. Like, I wasn't even like intentionally trying to get into it. But I guess whatever I wrote, they were just like, hey, you're accepted and we'll give you a scholarship for it. It was selfish on my part for not having that conversation with you prior.
It sure
I'll admit that. Mm-hmm. But in my thinking, I'm like, oh, we could both go to school at the same time. We didn't talk through it. I didn't process it properly. I was just really thinking about myself and my betterment. Mm-hmm. And I think that I feel like maybe I didn't take your words seriously in regard to you going back to school, because at that point you didn't have a school you wanted to go to or anything.
Because I was still very much like, could I, like, can I do this? I'm still processing through all of those things. Right. And so the easiest thing at that point was to say, go for it. Mm-hmm. And so I was, if I'm about to be honest, I mean, I've always been honest in this space.
Keep it 1,000.
1,000. Resentment started to creep in. Resentment started to be a thing that I started feeling, because I was just like, so remember, like, within myself, I'm like, I want to do this, I want to do that, whatever, right? Like, I'm not the sit quiet type. So I started to resent and like straight look at him and be like, yo, that's great. I'm glad that you're doing that. But, I feel left behind. I feel like I'm not progressing in a way that I know that I have the ability to do. But I just have not, because it seems as though your success was a priority at the time. And I didn't know how to communicate that. So that resentment started to like eat away at my core, because I was just like, so this is what marriage is like for real? Right. Like this is it, yeah. where I have to sit and watch him, Jamie, who has amazing abilities. Like, the dude is just super dope and just super amazing. And I just have to sit and watch it. And I had to come to a place where I celebrated, where I had to isolate it, where I was just like, I celebrate him. And then somehow try to find, I had to repurpose my being, repurpose my life, my perspective on who Carlene is. And I think that came when I was like 40, when I was just like, this is for the birds. Like, I can't forever be in this cycle of constantly just kind of staying in the background of our marriage, where I know that I have the potential to do great and amazing things. And so after we had that conversation where I told him, like, I'm straight hating on you right now, what I loved about the fact that after having that conversation, during having that conversation, Jamie was just like, do it. He was like, whatever it is that you want to do, whatever it takes, I'm with it. Like, go for it. Do it all. And then when the floodgates opened, I was like, dang, okay, all right, I need to do something. Okay, all right, what am I about to do? You know, so I just love the fact that even after that conversation, that he wasn't just like, stop hating on me or, you know, or me discouraging him in any way. I just love the fact that he supported me in it all.
Yeah, because I think what's important about marriages is that, I forgot what I was going to say. Let me see if I can remember what I was going to say. I think coming into a marriage, I'm always there to support you to be the best that you can be. Mm-hmm. And that if that means sacrificing that, and that requires some sacrifice on my part, right? And some understanding and listening and making sure that you are happy. Oh, this was the point I was going to make, was that having real conversations with your spouse is so important and so integral and vital for the success of a marriage. Because sometimes our expectations aren't met.
Right.
If we're not communicating.
Yeah.
And we assume everything is good because that's how I was operating. I was operating like, oh, Carlene is good with me doing all these things. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, I'm seeing you and I'm looking at you and you're giving me cues like you're good, but we're not having that marriage inventory.
Right.
Real conversation. And when it's brought in love, you know that there's no malice, there's no hate, there's true honesty. And if for me, I've made a covenant with you to stay married, then I need to do whatever it takes to make sure that you're happy and I'm happy as well. And so I love giving you the freedom. I won't even say giving you the freedom. Right. I love the freedom that you have
given
to express yourself, to do what makes you happy. And I stand beside you,
right.
Not behind you, but beside you, supporting you. And then if you got to go forward and I'm back there, I'm good with it.
Yeah.
As long as, as long as we keep the lines of communication open.
Yeah. I think that's key.
Right.
That's key. Not being afraid. Because I was afraid. I was afraid in the beginning when I started to feel it. And when I feel like this resentment started to get bigger and bigger, and it's like starting to swell, because I'm just like, yo, like, really? Like, this is what life is like for you right now, Carlene? Right? And so I was afraid of you saying, of you knocking me down or making me feel like, yo, what you have to say, I hear you, but this is where I feel like I need to be. Or you about to pull a, I feel like the Lord has really called me to this. You'd be like, okay. You know what I mean? Like, of being afraid of those things. And so I think it is so important, that communication piece. Because if we did not communicate, I don't even know if we would be married right now, or our marriage probably would have been very strained, very, very strained, because I would have probably been like, I would probably have thought that this was a one-sided marriage where you can progress in your career. You can go and preach to the nations while I'm at home, with the kids. And yes, I understand that children our kids was my ministry, but it's not my ministry alone. Like, right. I hear that often. Like, people say, your children are your ministry, that he goes while No, children, the children that we decided to bring into this world together, right? That's our ministry, not just my ministry solely. Right. And so understanding that, yeah, it's great staying at home. It's great doing those things, but it has to be shared and it has to be communicated. Yo, I'm tired. I just need to go to the grocery store. Yo, I feel like I need to progress in this way in terms of my career. And so this other part now that we're about to go into is this. So now I'm at a place where I am ready to go, right? I'm ready to go. Ready to go.
Go.
So here's the thing. And my really good friend, sister, oh my gosh, I love her so much. I literally broke down in tears when I was talking to her about this very same topic. And I broke down to her in tears because here I am, ready, willing, like I'm ready to go. But I feel as though I'm comparing our journey, I'm comparing where he is in his career to where I am, right? And it feels as though I am not as versed as he in whatever it is that he's doing, right? And so I feel as though he's here, I'm here, and I'm trying to not get where he is per se, but I'm trying to, I don't want to say, I don't know if it's, I want to be where you are.
Yeah, I don't think it's you want to be where I am, but I think it's probably a comparison, or it's probably a level of, I want what you have, I want that for myself as well.
Right.
I would like to have that as well.
But what happens is that I kind of get in my mind, I get into my head and I start thinking that I can't do it because I'm not where you are. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm making sense, but it's almost like,
so I think
because you started your journey here, right? My journey is not here as yet. I need to kind of work towards getting there. And it's not necessarily getting where you are, but it's just in terms of the fluidity of, like, you've had practice. You've practiced being a pastor. You've practiced being a scholar. That's something that you've practiced. For me, my practice has not been that at all.
Well, I'm going to push back a little bit because I think, and this is from my perspective, and I hear what you're saying. We both got our master's degrees around the same time. I graduated with my master's divinity, and I think we got married. You were in school and you were finishing up your master's. I strongly, from my perspective, I believe you and I are neck and neck in regards to our fields, that we're at the same level. I think you are as much an expert in education in your career as much as I have practice in my career in my field.
The practical piece, yes. But the educational, the learning piece, no.
The academic piece.
The academic piece. Okay. So not to say that the academic piece needs to be at the same rate of the practical piece, but I feel as though you have both. You've gone to school about learning how to be a pastor, not learning, but you've gone to school about being a pastor. You've done that twice over, actually 3 times over, right?
Right, basically.
And so you've gotten the practice of being a pastor for over 15 years. You've also academically, I mean, you're pretty much at the very echelon of like a PhD is like where it's at, right? And again, it's not to compare our journey is just the realization that because of the sacrifice that my journey has started a little bit, a lot behind where you started your journey, versus like if the role reversed, if you stayed home and I decided to go back to school to do my EDD, right? I would probably be in the sector where I'm teaching. I'm a professor in some school, right? And so that would then, I'm practicing what it is that I'm doing, versus you'll be at home practicing how to be a dad, or
I learned how to bake.
Right. You'll learn all those things.
Right.
Right. But at your core, those are not the things that you find.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah. I think Tansy made the good point. She hasn't had the same time to build.
Facts. That's it, Tansy.
Let's give her Tansy horns. Oh, no, that's not oh my God. Wow.
Oh, dear.
That's horns.
No, that's not oh my God. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
I haven't had the time to build. So this building is taking, this beginning build is beginning later on in my life. And I've made peace with it. I'm good with it. I'm just happy that I have the opportunity to begin that and not feel like, dang, it's too late, or feel like, what's the purpose? What's the point? But, I feel as though now it's my time to build, and I'm ready, y'all. I'm ready to build. I've been building.
Right. So yeah, Tiffany had the same point, but when she's home focusing on holding down the home, she is not moving through her field in the timing and level of exposure as probably desired.
Yes.
Nicole says, create your plan and just focus and on and run your race. You got this.
I got
with
this.
the arm strength. And Shayla has a question. I believe this is for you, Carlene. Do you feel that your value is not as valuable as his? If that makes any sense.
That's a great question, Shayla. Happy belated birthday. I know I said happy birthday before, but happy birthday again, Shayla. Okay.
Oh, shout out to Shayla. Happy birthday.
Do I feel that my value is not as valuable as his? Before, yes. I felt as though Jamie's value, right? Because his value is in front of people. He's doing this face to face. He's doing all the things, right? So I felt as though my value it's taking care of children, doing all the things is valuable. But as it relates to my career, who Carlene is and who I want to be in my field of study, yes, I felt like he was more valuable and I was not as valuable.
Yeah, and that can make sense because my work is public. It's very public. And so whenever I'm doing my job, when I'm working, it's in front of people.
Right.
And there's like people, saying all these things, shaking my hand and all that stuff, versus your work is more private in front of a classroom. But to everybody's points in their comments is that while I'm out there in the public sphere doing all of this stuff, you were in the background taking care of the children, and you didn't have the opportunity to build and to push yourself out there because the publicity that comes with the job of a pastor. And I want to just highlight what Marvin said, which was a good point, that this conversation transcends beyond just pastoral ministry. This is like a lot. This is in a lot of different fields, right? A lot of different. I mean, it could be even in working whatever job, right? You can be putting in 40 hours, 60 hours, and you can be doing it thinking that you're doing this for your family,
right?
But your schedule and spending time with them doesn't say you are there for your family,
right?
And I think that was when we had that conversation, when we had that honest conversation. In my brain, I'm like, yo, I'm out here preaching. I'm out here going to school. I'm out here doing this because I'm hustling for y'all. I want to be a good example to the girls. I don't want them marrying some slouch. But the real talk, the truth is, in my busy schedule, you all can't see what I'm thinking.
Nope.
You just see what I'm doing.
Exactly.
And I'm not here.
Right. I also want to highlight the fact that some women do make the choice and they are very comfortable.
Shout out.
With doing all the things that require staying at home and doing that. And some women just, that's their thing. And
Facts.
I applaud those women who do all of the things with the kids and with all that. I think for me, it was a little, I was conflicted because I know the juice that I have within me to desire to do and be, right? I don't necessarily have to be on a platform. I don't have to speak in front of people the way he speaks in front of people. But as it relates to just connecting with people in my field and just growing in that way, right? I felt like conflicted where I want to do this with educators and all the things, right? But I also want to stay at home. So I was very conflicted, right? And so for him, it's probably like, yo, what's your problem? Like, this is what you want, what you said you wanted to do. So what's going on? But for me, I think I was just a lot different. You know, I'm a lot different than some women. I wanted both. I wanted both.
I wanted both it all. Right.
I wanted to do both things. And so I just decided that being silent, sitting quietly would be what I needed to do in order for him to do what he felt like he needed to do. But then it came a point in time where I was there's where the conflict was like, nah, I don't have a problem with him doing that, but at least give me the opportunity to be able to say, it's my time, or for him to even say, it's your time, go for it. Right. Tag, you're in.
Right. Yeah. So, we spent over an hour.
Oh my gosh, just an hour already?
We spent 18 minutes over our time limit because the conversation was so good.
Was good.
But I think we're gonna probably need to continue it.
I don't know.
On a podcast,
probably
right?
Probably the bonus. We're gonna start doing like bonuses. Bonus episodes so that you guys can kind of we can get a little bit more deeper into the conversation.
Yeah, but I don't want to leave it with just there. I think we should reemphasize that if you feel like you are in a one-sided relationship, you have to be courageous enough to have a conversation about it.
Yes. I like that part. Be courageous.
Yeah. Courageous enough to set boundaries. What's okay, what's not okay.
Yeah.
And communicate. If you can't communicate and you can't talk to each other, then why are you in a relationship? Mm-hmm. Right? Why are you together? If you can't be 100%, keep it 1,000 with your partner without fear. Mm-hmm. And I'm not talking about fear of violence or, any kind of fear, right? That you should be able to just have that conversation, because loving you shouldn't be hurting yourself. Loving you shouldn't be hurting me.
Ooh, that part.
So I think that's tantamount.
So that's it right there, honestly.
Right. And I don't think there's anything apart from God and I don't think God would even want that to destroy marriages, that there's nothing here on earth that should get before you and your spouse, that should come between you and your spouse. If you made a covenant with that person to be with that person, then be with that person and talk and communicate.
Yeah.
But if you don't have communication, you don't have a relationship.
Yeah, real talk.
You don't.
Because if you can't, I feel as though if you're not comfortable coming and just saying what you need, what needs to be said, but you're afraid of hurting that person's feelings, then that's honestly, that's rough, honestly, because you're going to end up hurt, and not the person hurting you, but you're hurting yourself and not allowing yourself to be heard. And you deserve to be heard. Of course, there are tactful ways of communicating, whatever it is, but don't sit on it so much that resentment is real. And that thing can eat you alive if you don't tap into it and be like, yo, this has to go. That thing will build so much within you, and you would literally explode. And then your husband would be like, or your wife will be like, yo, where did this come from? I don't even know what's happening.
Was really good. So
that key is to communicate And then Tiffany, I see, said compromise. Communicate and compromise. And that compromise is based on whatever it is that you both decide on. Don't say I'm just going to compromise because it's what he has. What I'm going to compromise whatever it is that he wants. But no, have those honest conversations. Be like, yo, this is what I feel it should be. Okay, this is what I feel it should be. All right, how can we meet each other in the middle where one doesn't feel like they're...
Yeah, you shouldn't be compromising without a conversation. Do not make a compromise within yourself. You should have a conversation about whatever compromise you're gonna make, because it's not fair to the other partner.
Yeah.
Because the other partner might be like, no, you shouldn't be giving that up. You have a conversation about whatever, and I think sometimes we make compromises within ourselves because we don't want no problems.
Right, we don't want the conflict.
We don't want the conflict.
The tension.
I'm going to just fall back and just do that. And that's so unhealthy. You got to be able to talk about everything. And so I think it's communicate. Compromise if you have to, but don't do it within yourself. There should be a conversation before the compromise.
I like what this article says in mindbodygreen.com. It says, if you're experiencing too much anxiety, guilt, shame, and resentment, those are signs that you have absorbed far more responsibility than you were supposed to, leading to emotional burnout and oscillating feelings of numbness and anger. That is good.
Let me get some horn.
It is not your responsibility to take on the responsibility to be burdened on that way. Nah, son.
Right.
We're not about that life in 2023.
Right. But we are about this life. Yes. We have spent 23 minutes over. So when you play this back, just prepare to listen for an hour and 23 minutes.
We sorry, y'all, but this
podcast.
But this was good. Like this was like core good. And we just hope to continue to just kind of change narratives and also just make marriages, relationships better for those of you that are single. You can kind of now go into things with your perspective changed, and hopefully for those that are married, that communication and all the things will just be able to you'll be able to do that confidently, knowing that it is possible to have a working marriage, a marriage that's not perfect, but a marriage that you can work through together, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But this has been great, y'all.
This has been awesome.
Thank you so much for tuning in. You can go ahead and
you can catch us on the podcast. On Apple, Carlene plus Jamie. I think it's the plus sign, not PLUS.
Right.
Carlene plus Jamie. On Spotify, Carlene plus Jamie. On Instagram,
Carlene plus Jamie. Okay.
We'll put clips up and we'll keep you updated. And we keep it 1,000. So
1,000.
This is Jamie.
This is Carlene. This is your girl from New York.
All right. Okay, y'all. And we are signing out. Peace.
3, 2, 1.